So let's see on how we can be able to solve the actually two simultaneous equations using the substitution method. But on those two equations, one being a linear equation, the other one being the quadratic equation. So I beg before this lesson, just have to make sure that you have gone through the substitution method that involves the two linear equations and also the knowledge of how to solve the quadratic equations using the quadratic formula, completing square method, as well as the factor method, because those are the aspects you have to make use in this video. Let's say we have the equation given as x and plus 2y is equal to 7. Let's say this is equation 1, and we have x squared and plus, let's say this should be minus 4x and plus y to the power 2 and is equal to 1. So in this case, let's say this is equation number 2. So now how should we be able to use the substitution method in order to solve for these actually equations? So now principle remains the same as we already discussed this in the previous video of solving the two linear inequalities using the substitution method. So let's think of having the equation whose one of its actually variables can be expressed as the subject formula. As you can see, the linear equation, it is the simple to go for. So in this case, we have to say in equation 1. And how the equation looks like, we have it as x plus 2y is equal to 7. Then I should have to express x as the subject formula. Hence we have x is equal to 7 minus 2y. Then I'll have to substitute into equation 2. That is sub into equation 2. How is the equation 2 looks like? We have it as x squared minus 4x and plus y squared is equal to 1. So now, which means wherever there is x, then we are going to substitute the value of x. We are going to substitute with the x, with the expression for x that we have obtained it here. So now, which means we have it as, that should be 7 minus 2y and the square minus 4 times 7 minus 2y and plus y square, which is equal to 1. In this case, we'll have to apply the laws of algebra here. And having this case, it is the same as having 7 minus 2y and times 7 minus 2y. In this case, we'll have to factor out, we should have to expand with this negative 4, which means we'll have negative 28 and our plus should be 8y plus y square, which is equal to, and that should be 1. So in this case, we'll have 7 times 7, which is given as 49, and we'll have negative 14y and negative 14y, and our plus should be 4y square minus 28 and our plus y square, which is equal to 1. So now what it means is that we'll have to correct up the like terms together. So in that case, what it does is that we'll have, in this case we'll have a 14 should be 49 and we have 28. These are the like terms. So we'll have 49 minus 28 should be 49 minus 28, that will be given as 21. So have 21, and in this case we have 14y and plus y here, and of course we'll have it as this. And by the way, we should have 8y here. here we should have 8y. So we should have 8y somewhere here. So have plus, that is 8y. So that is, so 49 minus 28, we have it as 21. Then we have minus 28 y. Then we have 4y squared in this one. That is given us plus 5y squared, which is equal to 1. Now in this case, what it does is that, and of course we also have 8y here, and minus that, it means we'll have, should be negative 20, so have 20 should be 21 minus 20y plus 5y squared, and is equal to 1. So be careful with the calculations. You may end up missing some values that are important as well. So in this case, we'll have to transfer 1 to the other side. That will be given us. And also we'll have to rearrange this because the nature of the equation, it is possessing the quadratic equation. Hence we'll have 5y squared, and this one will be to the other side, will be negative. So hence we'll have it as plus, and that should be minus 20y, and we'll have it as plus 20, that will be equal to 0. So this will be the equation. So think of simplifying by dividing everything by 5. In this case we'll have it as y squared minus 4y, and that should be plus 4. That will be equal to 0. So in this case we can have to solve for y using the factor method. That will be given as y squared and minus 2y, that should be minus 2y, and plus 4, that will be equal to 0. So in this case we'll have y minus 2, the minus 2, y minus 2, that will be equal to 0. So have y minus 2 in terms y minus 2, that will be equal to 0. So now for this case we'll have the y, that will be given as 2. So we'll have the two values of y that are the same. The next we should have to substitute, and we should have, in this case we'll have y is equal to 2 and also y is equal to 2. Then we'll have to substitute these values into equation 1 in order to solve for their respective x values. So now we'll have to say substitute into equation 1. So we'll say substitute into equation 1. And where is the equation 1 looks like? We'll have x plus 2y, that will be equal to 7. So we'll have to substitute the value of x. The first value of y, that is given as 2. So which means we'll have x plus 2 times 2, have it as 4 is equal to 7. So which means we'll have x is equal to 7 minus 4. That is x is equal to 3. So this is the value of x whenever the y is given as 2. Likewise, we'll have this, it also be the same way. Hence we'll have, x is equal to, now should have it as x is equal to 3, and when y is equal to 2. And also x is equal to 3 when y is equal to 2. So these are the solutions, and for that case. So that's how you have to understand about the solving the simultaneous equations using the substitution method, and the ones that involves the linear equation as well as the quadratic equations. So keep that in mind. And how about if we have, let's say, this case, let's say we have xy is equal to 30. Let's say this is equation 1, and now we have 3x, that should be 3x plus y is equal to, let's say, 21. Let's say this is given as the equation 2. How should we be able to solve for x as well as y using the substitution method? So now principle remains the same. So choose whichever the equation whose one of its unknown variables can be expressed as the substitute formula. So the simplest one can be given as the equation 2. Then we'll say in equation 2. And how does the equation 2 looks like? We have 3x plus y is equal to 21. Then we make y as the substitute formula. Hence we'll have it as y is equal to 21 minus 3x. Then I'll have to substitute into 1. So have x times y is equal to 30. Where there is actually y are going to have 21 minus 3x. So which means we have x 21 minus 3x. That will be equal to 30. Then I will have so in this case we'll have it as 21x and the minus 3x squared, that is equal to 30. And of which we'll have it as minus 31, that should be minus 3x squared, and plus 21x minus 30, that will be equal to 0. Of course, we may think of eliminating the negative in front of 3x squared. Or else we may think of dividing everything by negative 3, because we can have negative 3 here and also negative 3 here. So which means we'll have it as 3x squared minus 7x and plus 10, that will be equal to 0. So in this case we use the factor method. So have x squared minus 2x minus 5x plus 10, that will be equal to 0. That will be given as x minus 2, and that should be minus 5x minus 2, that will be equal to 0. And in this case we'll have it as this, so which means we'll have x minus 2 and we'll have x minus 5, that will be equal to 0. Hence we'll have x is equal to 2 and y and also x is equal to 5. Those are the values of x you should have to know. Then I substitute each value into equation 1 and it will have its corresponding y values. Then you have to say substitute into equation 1, which is x plus, actually should be xy, is equal to 30. So in this case, let's start with x2. We'll have 2y is equal to 30. So which means y will be given as 15. So which means we'll have y is equal to 15 when x is given as 2. And also do the same with the value of x, which is given as 5. And that will have its corresponding y value. Should be corresponding y values as well in that way. And also try to have this case as well, and appreciate that how best we can go over this. Let's say we have, in this case, we have 25 x squared and a minus 4y squared, which is equal to 36. Let's say this is equation number 1, and we have 5x minus 2y and which is equal to 4. Let's say this is equation number 2. Now how should we be able to cover this? Then I'll have to think of having the equation, and whose one of its actual non-variables can be expressed as the substitute formula. Hence we think of having x as that, so which means we'll have it as in equation 2. And how does it looks like? We have it as 5x and the minus should be 2y is equal to 4. So have 5x, that will be equal to 4 plus 2y in that way. So we have x is equal to 4 over 5 plus 2x over 5. then I'll have to substitute that into equation 2. So I'll have to say substitute into equation 2. So I'll have to say substitute. Let me remove this one out. So substitute into should be equation 1. So which means where there is x, I can do substitute with this. And that should be, we should have y here, not x. We should have y here, not as x. Now in this case we'll have 25 times 4 over 5 minus 2y over 5, like that, minus should be 4y squared is equal to 36. So this is the equation. This is how the equation will be in this case. By the way, we'll have part 2 here, and of course this is the same as 25. You have 4 minus 2y, and over the part 2 divided by 5, that which is minus should be 4y squared is equal to 36. Upon having this as the single fraction, as it stands here, this is the same as 25. Having it as, that should be 25 times 4 minus should be 2y, in the times 4 minus 2y, and down here we have it as 25 minus 4y squared is equal to 36. And in this case means we'll have it as this. We'll have to multiply everything by 25 to make sure that, so in this case you can see that this one will cancel, so it is okay. So which means we'll have to expand here, we'll have 16 and minus 8y minus 8y, and that plus 4y squared minus 4y squared, that will be equal to 36. So now in this case, this and this will cancel. We'll only have 16 minus 8y. Now these are the direct terms. We'll have 16 minus 16, and that should be y, which is equal to 36. Then we'll have negative 16y is equal to 36 minus 16. That will be given us, so what is 36 minus 16? We have it as 20. So we'll have negative 16y is equal to 20. So which means we'll have y is equal to 20 over negative 16. And of which we can be able to simplify that one and in that way. So can you try to fix it out at your own time, how we can be able to proceed that and up to. So at your own time, try to go through the following problems and see how best you are with these cases. Let's say you have 2x plus, let's say should be 2x plus, now that's, I would say 2x plus y is equal to 5. We have, let's say, x squared plus y squared is equal to 25. So try to have this. Let's say we have also, that is should be x plus 2y is equal to 2. They have x squared and plus 2xy that is equal to 8. Try that as well, and even this one as well. Let's say we have, in this case, that is, let's say y is equal to, let's say x plus 2, and we have x squared plus y squared is equal to 8. So try to have these actually problems at your own time.